we're going to talk now about job search tips and how you can be successful and strategic in that process and just how to feel more comfortable going through the job search as well. So first and foremost, the first thing that I would do is complete the North Carolina online teaching application and just getting that kind of all squared away because lots and lots of positions are posted through that. The next being creating a profile on Handshake, which Handshake is the online job board that the Career Center here at UCW actually manages. And we're getting new positions posted every single day. And what's nice is it's not only positions around Wilmington or North Carolina, it's also a national platform. So if you're looking at going into, there's also job opportunities posted there as well. Next thing is, just having your credentials, your documents, everything ready to go so that when you are in that job search process, you already have, your resume and cover letter finalized. You already have reached out to your references and have a set group of people that you can put down for that and just everything again ready to go. In terms of the busiest hiring season, it's typically April through August, but teachers are still hired after classes start in August as well. But I always say take that with a grain of salt because I think everything going on with COVID-19, I just think the hiring season is just going to look incredibly different. And so, this is going to be a new time for a lot of different school systems. So just being flexible, adaptable, continuing, to apply for jobs and to network, and we'll talk about that as well. Attending job fairs. So the UNCW job fair is scheduled for March 8th, 2021, and we're still kind of figuring out what that looks like. And I know that's a ways away, but if you're, still looking for positions or you're still interested in meeting with different school systems to see what they have to offer, that is going to be happening in the fall, or in the spring, and whether or not that's in person or a virtual event is to be determined. The next thing is, dropping off resumes in person. So again, this might feel a little bit different with everything going on, but that is a very proactive way to just get your resume to be at the top of the list for principals to review. It's also a good way to have some interaction, potentially with the administrative staff when you walk in, or if you do get the opportunity to drop off your resume in person to that principal directly. Again, it's just a very proactive, direct way, and principals have recommended doing that. And part of that's because, applying online it's not enough to get a job, right? You want to work your job search, reach out to your connections, drop them off at schools, etc., which kind of goes into my last one, which is networking and making connections, whether that's in person, whether that's through social media or who you know, and we'll talk about that more too. So networking. 70 to 80% of jobs are obtained through networking, which is so crazy because I think a lot of times we just apply for jobs online, but that really is not the most effective way to obtain a position. So I think with that, I think it's really important to start thinking about who is in your network. What is a network? To you. And that can be parents, that can be relatives. So if you're looking to go back to your hometown, professors, career center staff, so me, bosses, colleagues, connections from volunteering, your peers, your friends, alumni, the school that you're doing your student teaching at is definitely a huge one. So again, really utilizing your network and just really getting to know them and being intentional with building that network because you never know what opportunities will come as a result of that. And so why network? So I love this visual because I just think it's so impactful and just really seeing the process that employers take. So first and foremost, this is where we start with a job, and this is where employers start. So we start off with dropping off a resume, online posting, a referral from a friend or colleague, and then promote or hire someone whose work they know. So as you can see, we start at different places. So I guess the biggest takeaway from this is we want to kind of try to start where employers are starting because they're really looking to fill those positions from the top moving down, and we should be intentional with making sure that we are creating those networks that our principal is seeing us teach in the classroom directly, that we're becoming close with our partnership teachers, and that we're networking with other school systems as well. So job search tips, I think it's just being patient and persistent. It is a process. It's not always smooth sailing for everybody, and that's okay. You want to talk to people in person. You want to follow up with them. You want to write thank you notes. So just any ways that you can just really personalize that experience, I think the better. I've also had principals say that volunteering and getting involved in school systems is so important, whether that's through tutoring, proctoring, substitute teaching, school events, because that's just another way to get face time with the school, with the students, with the principal, so that again, they can begin that process of visualizing you within the school and visualizing you as a teacher. And it just, again, goes along with building that network, building that professional rapport. And then always dressing professional. So, especially for an interview, especially for a job fair, especially if you're walking into a school to drop off your resume, look very nice. Look, more conservative is typically better, especially for the initial first impression. So for women, if you're going to a job fair, kind of that suit or matching, jacket and pants or skirt, closed-toed shoes, no low-cut blouses, no flashy big jewelry. Employers really aren't super interested in that. For men, matching socks to pants, a shirt and tie with a suit, obviously no tennis shoes, neat haircut, good hygiene, making sure that our perfume or cologne isn't overbearing. I wouldn't necessarily say a briefcase or a large purse, but even just that portfolio that we talk about that carries your documents is helpful as well. So I already kind of talked about the job fair that's happening, but it doesn't even have to be UNCW's job fair, just any job fair that's happening. I know a lot of school systems will kind of have their own going on as well. Have your resume looked at. Make sure that you are getting some valuable feedback on that and have enough copies to pass out. Particularly if you're attending the UNCW career fair, you can see what schools will be attending beforehand. So just making sure that you have enough copies to pass around, because you never know who will be attending or what schools might grab your attention. So I think it's important to be open-minded. What's nice about Handshake is you can actually see all the schools that are attending. You can see what open positions they have. So you can also kind of do some research on the forefront. And in the event that our fair is virtual in the fall, that same concept will still be true, that you can still see the list of employers, what they're hiring for, et cetera. Making sure to research school systems. So again, showcasing that you've done your research and that you know the school, that you can speak to them in a more personal way is so important, and just automatically increases your chances of getting that interview or getting that position. Prepare a list of questions to ask recruiters, especially if it's a school system that you're really highly targeting. And another thing too, if we do have an in-person fair, preparing for an on-campus interview, a lot of times they will stay after and say, can I interview right here, right there today? And I think it's important for you to just be prepared for that, and to know that that often does happen, especially if they really connected with you. And this is just a little chart that I'm not going to go super over, but the do's and don'ts of a job fair. So if you do happen to attend one, things that you can do really well. I think the biggest one that I see is just don't travel in groups. If you're going to go around to employers, go by yourself. You really want to stand out, and you really want to be able to speak to that employer and have a personal conversation. Sometimes when you're in a group, you lack that, and it just doesn't always showcase a sense of independence either. And you also want to be, friendly, warm, genuine. If you had a really good conversation with that recruiter, they're probably going to give you their business card. Follow up with them. Send an email. Say, it was really great to meet you. I really enjoyed the points that you brought up in our conversation. Personalize that email as well. I always say, don't ask generic questions. Do your research ahead of time. Don't forget to bring an adequate number of resumes if it is in person. I can't stress that enough, because you just want to be able to keep your options open and keep an open mind as well. So like I said, there's a lot of things that you can do to be proactive in your job search, but I think the biggest thing is just really having your documents and things prepared on the front end and just really utilizing that network, really being intentional about the relationships that you're building because you never know what opportunities will arise. And as that chart showcased, who you know is really important and principals are looking for that information. Thanks.